They came down, generated liquidity right above the CE. They come down one last time, sweep that generated liquidity, and then tap the CE, and they go. I was so angry after I saw them moving up. I was so tight. Oh my gosh. All right, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is the first time you're tuning in, my name is Lewis, and I am just simply documenting my trading journey. I want to thank you so much for giving me the time of your day. So please leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at LewisVisuals_, and also on TikTok at LewisVisuals. Welcome to the start of this new series where I'm going to be growing a $500 account. I'm going to be tracking the whole series with the sponsor of this video, which is Trade Dash, and I want you to stay till the very end of the video where you'll see the whole Trade Dash platform and you'll see all the amounts of losses and wins that I took this week. I only traded from Tuesday to Friday. I didn't trade on Monday on the live account, but I did trade on Monday on my funded account. So we'll go over all the trades that I did end up taking, and then you'll see how the live account is doing at the very end of the video. So please make sure you stick to the end of the video. I don't want to make this beginning part too long. Let's talk about the other sponsor of the video and the Discord. As I stated, the other sponsor of our video is Tektronix.com. If you're looking for the best quality PCs with the best parts in the market, make sure you hit up Tektronix.com on Instagram because their website is getting rebuilt, so they are offline for the moment, but it all works the same. Just make sure you message them if you have a very specific build and that you need help with. Get in contact with them. They'll be able to help you out. The discount code LVFLIP still works for 10% off at checkout, so please make sure that you take advantage of it. But they are the other sponsor of the series and this channel, really, so I appreciate Tektronix.com for everything that they've done. Like I said, I have a case that I put on my PC from Tektronix.com and also RAM. I'll put the video in the screen right now, but apart from that, that is all I have to say. Make sure you go and check them out and use my discount code. Now we are here in the Discord. Recently the Discord has been very active and I love it. I think it's going to become more and more active as the weeks go by, and I'm just going to have a good mindset when it comes to it. Like I say in every video, the link is down in the description. It is completely free. If you want to join, just click that link and it will bring you to the free portion of the Discord, which is this free version, the membership, and then this live trading for whenever I do free live trading or just to chat with the people who are in the Discord. All that I ask is that if you're joining, please be active in here, keep the conversation going, throw your trades in there, throw any questions you have in there. People answer questions all the time, but we have been very active this past week, so I am extremely grateful for everybody who's in here and who's showing support by being active at all times. If you want to join the premium Discord and get access to all of this in the premium section, the stuff in the premium lectures for sure, the stuff that I'm working on right now, which is the crypto, and something that's coming very soon, which is the real estate section as well, I will just give you a sneak peek into that. You already know what to do. Hit the join premium and everything is in there. If you need testimonials, head to my testimonials and you could read it all in there by yourself. Everything that you need is in that join premium section, as well as my one-on-one calls. If you want to learn how to trade from me and get coaching from me one-on-one, where we could set up either a 1 call a week or 2 calls a week, all the information is in there. I added a new payment process as well, so there's multiple options in there. Everything is paid monthly, as well as the premium Discord, so take advantage of it. And that's pretty much everything that I have to say when it comes to the premium Discord and the one-on-one calls. I just did add a whole new lecture inside of the liquidity section, and the next one that's probably going to be done, I'll probably end up doing it this week as well, because I've been waking up at 5 in the morning recently, but I have that time now at 5 in the morning where I can record a video for the lecture and have it uploaded before you guys are even awake. So this is about to get lit in the premium section. I think the next is the OTE, which I'm probably going to do, and then I'll keep the other stuff silent for now, but join the premium. Link is down in the description. Before I get into the actual charts and we get into the juicy stuff, thank you so much for the support that you've been giving me on the YouTube channel and also the Instagram. I know the YouTube channel is about to hit, probably by the time we upload this video, we'll probably be at 1.35k followers, so thank you so much for that. I am extremely grateful, and I'm going to check the Instagram right now, but I'm pretty sure we're very close to 1800 followers as we speak. We're at 1792, so I think by the time this video is up, we'll be at 1800 followers. So thank you so much for the support. I'm extremely grateful to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, but also to you, because it wouldn't be possible without you and your support. I always want to show that I'm grateful, whether it's a 1 view in 1 like, 1 subscriber, I don't care. You could be doing something else right now, and I'm just grateful that you chose to come and take a look at my content. So once again, thank you so much for that. But let's get into the juicy stuff and let's talk about this trading week. Now, this is what the trading week ended up looking like. As you can see, it just ran all week, from Sunday all the way up to a Thursday high, but really a Monday low to a Thursday high. We ended up having a crazy Tuesday, which I was not expecting, but it is what it is. And that is the week that we ended up having. Either way, let's get into the days of the week and we'll talk about everything. Like I said in the beginning of the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know how your trading journey is going. Let me know how your trading week ended down in the comments. If you want to see the results of the live account, stay till the end of the video. I will show you the trade dash so that you can see everything, and I can't hide it because I'm being honest. You'll see my wins and you'll see my losses, and trust me, you want to be here till the very end. Now let's talk about what happened on Monday the 12th. Now here we are. This is what happened on Monday. I came into the day and I saw that we had this big new week opening gap. As you can see, yeah, this huge new week opening gap right here. Like I was saying, I saw this very big gap and saw that we just pumped all the way up from the very open of Sunday PM session or Asian session on Sunday, and I was like, okay, we have to come back and at least try to see something inside of this new week opening gap, because I'm still bullish. I wasn't expecting them to do this at the beginning of the week, if I'm being 100% honest, but I was expecting them to come at least down here. Now, as you can see, that did not happen, but I was bearish coming into the New York Open on Monday, and as you can see, I took a fire trade on Monday New York Open on demo because it was pre-market, and I'll show you right now. I don't like to take trades before 10 a.m. so I'll show you the trade in itself right now. Here it is. I took this short on demo and I was targeting, like I said, the new week opening gap, but they stopped right here on this fair value gap. I think this is the 1 hour, but I did take this short up here. I was also going to take a short on my funded account. I did not take a trade this day on my live account, so let's talk about the trade that I ended up missing and then the loss that I took on my funded account on this day, because I was bearish. So I wanted to see them come into this fair value gap at least, and they did on ES. So there was an SMT. I'll show you the SMT. Here's the fair value gap on NQ, and this is the same fair value gap on ES. So as you can see, we did tap into it on ES, NQ didn't. That was my call for sells, and I should have taken a short right there, but so I did take a short, but it ended up being a break even actually for the short that I ended up taking. And then I believe I took a loss here in the afternoon or a little bit later into the morning session, but I did end up taking this trade. It was on the 1 minute. I'll show you exactly what it was here, as you can see. And you know, I just be contradicting myself sometimes, but I am getting a lot better at staying with my bias and seeing the trades play out a lot more. So as you can see right here, I took a trade off of this SMT on NQ, a bearish SMT, and I took a short, I believe right here. I believe I have my stop above here and I was just targeting these lows. I then end up moving my stop to break even, and once they ran like this and they ended up coming up. But why should I have waited? Because obviously there was multiple entries I could have taken here, but I think I should have let my trade have some space, especially with the stop loss. I could have got away with a 10-point stop loss on this and I would have been fine, but it just ended up being a break even because I moved my stop loss too aggressively. And that's what you got to be careful of, is not moving your stop loss too aggressively, especially once we reject off a level, because obviously the 15-minute fair value gap is what we wanted. I would have entered exactly on that high if we got it, but as you can see, we end up rejecting from it. There's also a rejection block entry right here, so I could have taken that, could have taken a short right here at the rejection block, and I would have got away with a very small loss, stop loss with a 6.57. Doesn't matter because that is the protected high. There's an SMT at that high, at least until we get down to this low. So there's that entry in there. But also, if you pay attention to it, I'm pretty sure we came back up to OTE before going. And yeah, as you can see, I should have paid attention to that and waited a little bit longer before I entered to then take the short in here, because we came back into OTE to take that. That is my fault. I also did not notice that we had a 2-minute fair value gap or inverse fair value gap there on Monday, and I could have re-entered. Honestly, as soon as I got stopped out at break even, I could have re-entered for shorts, because the reason why we were moving back up was because there was this inverse gap, or it was a regular gap, not an inverse gap, excuse me. Right here, there was a fair value gap there, so I could have taken my entry right at the fair value gap and had the same 10-point stop. I would have been chilling. Same up here, as you can see, rejection block on the 2-minute. The next 2-minute candle ended up opening down here, went back up, rejection prediction block entry and dumped. But I could have easily got my 50 points in this. Honestly, I would have got 82 points plus on this. Probably could have got 100 points out of it. Yep, for sure. 100 points out of this would have been nice. Would have been a very nice trade with a very small, tight loss. But I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at realizing these things and seeing them through, so I could be a lot more patient, specifically with time as well. This would have been a very good time to enter because we were in a fair value gap at that time. We were already in OTE. We had just rejected. There was an SMT. I'm already bearish. I at least wanted these lows. I wasn't trading on my live account, because if I was trading on my live account this day, I would have took the short and tried to hold it all the way down to the new week opening gap, and we saw how that ended up. But that is the trade from Monday on my live account. If you want to see the live executions, as always, I always say go check out my Instagram, because my live executions are on there. And then we come back to this. This is the trade that I took in the afternoon session. I took a long in here because there was a 5-minute fair value gap, as you could see, and it ended up holding. My problem on this 5-minute fair value gap was the fact that my stop loss was too tight. It was extremely tight, and as you can see here, I took a long. This candle right here at 11:20 was the one that ended up stopping me out, because I think I had my stop below this low. And as you can see, the opportunity to go long was either in this candle at 11:20 or after we saw the SMT here. I saw a couple people take the long after this one candle on the at 12 closed. Some people took the entry in here and had their stop loss be this protected low. Obviously that would have been the best entry. It ended up going up to the high of day, if I'm not mistaken, or the high from yesterday. Yeah, ended up getting hit, and later on in the afternoon, and I would have got away with a good stop loss as well. Only 24 points. That's not bad, but like I said, not being patient, trying to rush into trades is really what's messing me up. So I'm working on that. But I just took a break even here, and then I took a loss on this. It was a small loss. It wasn't nothing crazy on the funded account, because I'm following my rules. I was actually very disciplined this week. I think I learned from it, and I'm gonna start printing because I'm following my rules and taking good setups. I'm not mad at it at all. But that is the day that happened on Monday. Now let's move on to Tuesday. All right, so here on Tuesday, so we are here on Tuesday, and as you can see, this monstrosity of a range. I was upset because I was expecting them to go up, but not like this, because I had my buy side liquidity right here. As you can see, that's what I was targeting. I ended up taking one loss on my live account, and then one loss and one win on my funded account. The loss was so annoying, and I'll explain it. But we had news, I believe it was CPI on Tuesday. So at 8:30 we had 8:30 news. As you can see right here, there's this big wick, and I was bullish, so I was expected to see at the open for us to drop, at least take out the low and then head higher. But as you can see, they just ended up going up. Now there was a 1 hour change of state in delivery here, so that's why they came back down to this point and then just shot up. But I think there was a SMT at that low, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, there was an SMT at that news low. As you can see here, this is the news low. Ended up getting taken out at 8:45, and ours never got taken out. But at 9:30 as well, we ended up taking the low from the 8:45 candle and not taking it on ES. So I guess you could say this is the SMT that should have shown me, okay, they're gonna go up. And I knew they were gonna go up. I was bullish, but I was not expecting this, and I was looking for them to retrace, but they just never retraced. I think there was one chance on the 1 minute of a retracement, like over here, but that's what ended up happening. I also noticed that on Tuesday, for example, it did not look like this, but the wick at 10, I was waiting for 10 after I saw that they were just expanding and expanding. My thought process was watch them at 10 create this very small wick and then just keep expanding. They look like they just want to expand today, especially at how they're expanding here. But as you can see, there was opportunities here, I guess you could say, at 9:35 to take a long inside this 1 minute fair value gap. I just wasn't sure if they were gonna dump again to try to come for this low and go higher, but I wasn't paying attention, I guess, because we had an SMT below this low like I showed you earlier. Then they had this fair value gap entry here, didn't take it. I said, okay, I'm just gonna wait for 10. At 10 they opened here and SMT'd between these two 1 minute candles. After I saw that, I was like, they're just gonna go. They're literally just gonna go. And I still didn't take the trade. I thought they were gone. They're gone. That's it. They're gone. And I'll show you on ES as well. But as you can see, we ended up taking that low. And now let me show you ES. Very clear that this is the 10 o'clock open. As you can see, this wick never went below here. This one did, making a lower low. This one making a higher low. That was the SMT. I said, as soon as I saw that, I said they're gonna boom. I should have just took the trade in there, but I hesitated on it because of how much they were expanding. Then I see them drop here at 10:10. Still didn't take it. I wasn't too confident. I thought they would maybe try to retrace. Wasn't too confident, so I just kept waiting and waiting. And then I see this, and I was so fed up at this because this is the trade that I took on my live account. As you can see, I got a very good entry here. If this never happened, like if they just kept expanding, this would have been a good entry. Only risking 9.25 points. But it got me mad because right, we were expanding. This is a 5-minute fair value gap that we were in right here. And if I'll show you the 5-minute fair value gap too. This is the 5-minute fair value gap that I just showed you. All right, so let's go back to the 1 minute. This is what happened, right? So I see them tap into the 5-minute fair value gap right here. I'm like, okay, they tapped into the fair value gap. I'm gonna try along. I tried along there, but I didn't notice the CE of the fair value gap was still untouched. They came down, generated liquidity right above the CE. So cheeky of them, I guess you could say, but they generated liquidity right above the CE. They come down one last time, sweep that generated liquidity, and then tap the CE, and they go. I was so angry after I saw them moving up. I was so tight. Oh my gosh, I was furious because I took a loss on my funded and on my live account. This is the execution for my live account right here, but I took this and I lost. I was so angry. I was so mad. I was furious. All I had to do was have a little wider stop, if I'm being honest, and I would have been fine. That's what I get for not waiting for the level to get hit, and they do that. But then they expand and create another 5-minute fair value gap, and I was just like, I'm done with my live account for today. I'm just gonna take a trade on my funded. So then I take a trade on my funded. I was only risking 10 points on my funded. So with this trade right here, I got 50.5 and obviously made more than a loss. So please stick to your rules, please stay disciplined, and pay attention to your risk and reward and your money management, because if you take small losses and your wins always eat up your losses, you're gonna be profitable. So I see that we come down and take this liquidity here inside this 5-minute fair value gap. I saw that they had this here and tapped the CE of this 1-minute fair value gap. I thought that they weren't gonna come back down into CE again, because it wouldn't make sense for them to come down CE here and then just come down to CE and then another fair value gap. So I said, let me just see what they do. They tap it once, they tap it again, and I see this candle forming, and I'm like, I'm gonna take it. I take it here again. This is my actual fill, and you can see the execution on my Instagram for this. I'll probably pop it up in the video. And then I bought there, had my stop below this low, tight, and they ended up hitting my TP, but I should have held because I was aiming for this up here. Yeah, this probably would have made me go crazy with this, but they did end up coming up to the level and taking it out. So I probably could have got a lot more points out of this trade on Tuesday, but that is the day on Tuesday. So I took 1 loss on my live account, and then I took 1 win and 1 loss on the funded account. Now let's move on to Wednesday. Now Wednesday was a total mess. I took 2 losses, but 1 full loss on both my live accounts and my funded, and then I took a half a loss on both because I downsized my risk, and I think that really was what saved me. After that, I'm not taking more than 2 trades a day, and I've been disciplined this week. I'm telling you, this is the reason why I think I'm going to be very profitable these next few weeks, is because I've been very disciplined on my trades. But let's talk about what happened here on Wednesday. Now Wednesday, I believe I took a trade inside of this 15-minute fair value gap, and I was targeting, I think, a level that was right above this up here, right above this, and it got actually rimmed on paper because it was a pre-market trade. I took a pre-market trade, and I'll show you the trade. I sent it in my Discord as well. There it is. That's just shot like a rocket at open and just distributed all the way up, and this was the level. I don't think I have it on my chart anymore, but this was the level, and they just rimmed it and didn't hit the TP, so I just closed it right before they started dropping. But that's what they were doing, and then they did this in the morning, and this should have been expected. If you look at and if you are in my Discord, you could just go to the weekly news. If you look at the news for this week, we end up having no news Monday. We have CPI on Tuesday. Wednesday, there was really no news. This ended up being eliminated. It just didn't happen. And then we have PPI on Thursday. So you can expect, especially after the expansion that we had on Tuesday, you can expect Wednesday to be choppy. And I noticed that in the morning, but I still traded. So I gotta become better at listening to myself. And I'll tell you why as well, because I saw that we had Asia session. We had London take Asia high, same as previous day high. Then in London session, they came all the way down and took out Asia low, and then they start to move up again right before New York session. I said, yeah, this looks like search and destroy, and that's kind of what it was. It was just search and destroy. There was a bit of a move here, and then another one with the short right after. So it was search and destroy, and I ended up getting chopped up in here. I took a long, and it was so butt. I don't even want to show you. It was a very bad long. If you want to see the execution, you'll see it on my Instagram. But yeah, it was just a bad long. It was a bad trading day. I should have known, and this is why a lot of people say you you have to know what days not to trade. This made a lot of sense. The day in between two big news events, the day before was a crazy big expansion. If you see a crazy big expansion, you can expect the next day not to be that big either way. But the fact that we have news right after and the day before with a long expansion, I should have known this day was going to be a search and destroy. Like I said as well, we already took out Asia high in London, took out previous day high in London, then came down in the same session, took out Asia low, and then right before New York, we already took out London high. I was like, yeah, they're gonna chop. They're just gonna chop. I didn't step away, but I did follow my rules, which is the best important part, and that helped me preserve capital. So I'm thankful that I followed my rules. But let's move on from Wednesday and talk about Thursday. Thursday got me tight because I took a win on my funded account, and then I ended up taking a loss on Thursday because obviously I did not take profits on Thursday, and then they came down one last time, took me out, and then went in my direction. So it is what it is. And I also noticed what happened, so it's my fault. But this is what ended up happening on Thursday. I noticed Thursday we were just straight chopping the whole way through, and you can see this execution on my Instagram. I might pop it up in the video as well. But we were inside this 5-minute fair value gap all morning, so I was expecting them to do something to try to at least get up to this high, and that's what I was targeting on my funded account, and that's exactly the trade that I ended up taking. As you can see here, I'll show you on the 1 minute. I took it was an SMT and a inverse fair value gap on the 5-minute, and then I think it was a regular fair value gap on the 1 minute as well. That was my levels to take the trade, and it was only a couple of minutes. But as you can see here, so we ended up having an SMT. I'll show you the SMT. This is the SMTs. As you can see, this low at 850, it ended up making a higher low on ES and a lower low on NQ. So that was the first thing that I noticed. The second thing that I noticed was that we were inversing the 5-minute fair value gap, which is this right here. So I'll close this now, which is this big block, the gray box, and then we had this 1 minute fair value gap here. So I wanted to see what they were gonna do before I got into the trade. I also put the fib up and saw that they came below 50%. That was another confluence. I saw that they tapped the 50% of this fair value gap. I said, okay, I'm gonna take it at the 50% of this 5-minute gap. Took it there, and they expanded all the way up. My problem was that on my funded account, I was only targeting here because that is 50 points. That's plenty of profit on with one contract on E-mini. But on my live account, I was targeting the Asia highs. As you can see, they did end up coming up for the Asia highs on that day. But my problem was that it wasn't time for them to go yet because they wanted to come back lower. And I also noticed that we had an SMT on the highs of Asia. So as you can see right here, I'll go on the 15-minute to make it a little bit more noticeable, or so it won't look too crazy. If you look here, we ended up taking out the Asia highs at 10. Here on NQ at 10, we weren't even close to the Asia highs. So the Asia highs ended up getting taken out probably here at 11:21. So there was an SMT at the Asia highs. As soon as I saw that, I knew they were going to retrace. I just didn't think they were going to come back to my entry. So I just let it run, and they came all the way down right here. It took me out. I should have just took profits. Because I was up about $100 or something like that on my live account. So I could have took profits there after seeing the SMT and then waited because I was still bullish. And then I could have waited for this. There was another SMT with this low and one of these lows, and then they started going. And I could have took the same entry right here, 10-point stop loss, and let it run all the way up to the London highs, and they ran. Nothing really scary ended up happening probably until here, and I think they ended up taking it out before that. Yep. So I missed out on profits on my live account because didn't take profits here, because if I would have took profits here, I would have at least waited to see what would happen next, to see if I wanted to take another trade, because I knew they were bullish and they were going to head to the London to the Asia highs. So that's my fault. So I ended up taking a loss on Thursday, very small loss, but it was my fault because of that. And then now we move on to Friday the 16th. Now Friday, I hesitated so bad, and it's so annoying, but I have to continue to trust myself. And if you're in my Discord, the new video that I posted in the liquidity section, I actually say it inside of there. In that video on liquidity, I said that we were gonna head lower first in New York session to then end up moving higher. So what ended up messing me up this day was the fact that we chopped so much. So we end up chopping a lot. As you can see. It scared me out of the trade. So I was waiting for them, and I sent a screenshot in the Discord. I was waiting for them to tap this right here. There's this inverse gap. I don't know what time frame there is on that's in. It was on the 5-minute. Okay. Yeah. So there's this inverse gap, and then there's 1 minute fair value gap. So those are what those two boxes are. I'll erase this here so it won't be so crowded. So we have this inverse 5-minute right here, which would have been a very good entry. The CE of that could have definitely had that. But here, I'll show you the execution as well that I sent in the Discord right here. So you can see this is the CE of that 1 minute fair value gap. I was like, damn, they rimmed my entry and then they just took off. That was at 9 something. So 9 o'clock. o'clock, and then the real entry didn't end up happening until 10:20 or here at 10:26 because they came up one last time. I chickened out of taking the short. I could have easily took a short here at the CE of the 1 minute fair value gap, which is where I had that entry I just showed you with a 10-point stop. I would have been safe. Would have been on a little bit of drawdown, would have been safe. Could have targeted what I was targeting, which was these lows down here, this south side liquidity, and as you can see, they ended up murdering that. So it would have been a 10R for 100 points if I didn't chicken out of it. Got scared. I ended up taking a short like somewhere here, but then this ended up taking me out, I believe, my funded account. Then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna watch. They end up dumping extremely hard. They come down here, and then they do this, right? And I see this happening. I'm like, okay, there's a SMT already at the London low, or at the Asia lows. If you see on ES, there is no Asia liquidity did not get taken out on that day. This is Asia south side. They did not take that out. They took out London session liquidity, but did not take out Asia. So that's the first thing. Then you see here, 15 minute, higher low, here, lower low. Pointing bullets. I already knew that if we came down and SMT, I was going to take a long. But this one candle messed me up because I'm like, okay, are they going to come up? Are they going to go down? And I freaked out. Didn't take the trade. Literally did not take the trade. I froze and did not take the trade. The real entry for me personally would have been this inverse fair value gap wick or CE right here with a 10-point stop loss right here. And I wasn't going to enter here because I was watching it. I was going to enter on this at 10:47. I was looking at it. I was like, I should enter. Never did. But I would have got away with it, and I could have got crazy RR. First of all, my 50 points on my funded account, easy, very easy. Because on my funded account, I try to just get 50 points. Very easy, 1 of 5. Very easy, extremely easy, 1 of 5. Could have left it running as well, all the way up to these highs for a 100 points and a 10R. But that's not even where it ends. This motherfucker went all the way up here in the afternoon session. So I could have left that shit run all the way there for a 15R, 153 points if I didn't get scared. So I hesitated. So the trades that I did take for real, I took a long right here inside this 5 minute, or what was it? Was it a 5 minute fair value gap, or was it no, it was not a 5 minute fair value. I think it was a 2 minute fair value gap. Yeah, there it is. This is 2 minute fair value gap there. That 2 minute fair value gap, they tapped into it here. They then start to move on the 1 minute. Here we are, as you can see, tapped it there. I entered here, had my stop 10 points, went up, they took this out, came back down, took me out, and they chopped around for a little bit longer and then went to Narnia. But it is what it is. I ended up taking a loss on my live account as well because I got in late, but all I had to do was have a bigger stop and it was fine. But if also all I had to do as well was just wait a little longer. This is 1 minute fair value gap here, inverse inside this. I'll just take this one, but if you see in here, this 1 minute fair value gap, they line up perfectly. That would have been a very good level to take a long at with a 10-point stop. Could have got away with smaller, but 10-point stop loss. Could have targeted the same target that I was targeting here. This is what I was playing out the trade and, you know, back testing, but same target, and I would have got a 1 of 8, but I wasn't patient enough. I need to be patient. I'm gonna wait a lot more next week as I continue to grow these levels. But that is the week that I ended up having. I did do very well on my discipline, so I'm extremely happy at that I did very good with staying disciplined all week. I'm gonna show you the live account progress now on TradeDash. So this is what TradeDash looks like. Like I said, I had a very bad day on Tuesday. I didn't take too many trades, but I messed up and I took 2 trades with the same amount of contracts on Tuesday by accident. I was trying to take this trade here with 1 trade with 2 contracts, which was my first trade. Then my second trade, I was supposed to go to 1 contract, but I hit 2. I entered another trade without realizing that I didn't move it to 1 contract, and then ended up losing the amount that you see is left in here. But I did very good on these days. This is very good for my risk. This is just the one day I messed up on here. But Thursday I should have had a W, and Friday I should have had a W as well. But it is what it is. Then the only true day that I had lost was Wednesday because of all that chop, and then Tuesday, if this was a smaller loss and I won these 2 days, it would have been a different story. But next week, make sure you tune in. Check out TradeDash for sure. Check out Tektronics.com. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok at Lewis Visuals. Let me know down in the comments how your trading week went. Use my discount code LVFlip on Tektronics.com to get 10% off. And tune into the next video to actually see the progress of the next video that we take. But this is what I ended up the week on. I would definitely become a lot better. It says I didn't win any trades, but like I said, Thursday and Friday I had winning trades. I just never closed my profit. It is what it is. Join my Discord, and it's been getting very well. It's been getting very good. If you want to join the premium, just come down here, hit join premium. If you want one-on-one calls and you want the information for the one-on-one calls, it's in this section, so make sure you check that out. If you want to contact me to get information on the one-on-one calls, you can hit me up on Instagram DMs. You can hit me up here in the free chat, or you could try to DM me directly through Discord if you already have my Discord. Apart from that, thank you so much for watching this video. That is basically all that I have to say. I appreciate Appreciate you giving me the time that you've given me, and if you made it this far, you're a G. I appreciate you. But like I said, I think I'm gonna start raking in a lot of money now because I am following my rules, and I realized that was the one thing that was holding me back. And I'm gonna make a very long video for my premium Discord, so make sure that you stay tuned for that if you're in there. But apart from that, I will catch you in the next video. Peace out.